time now is 7 p.m. on April 16th, 2024. I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Wayne Township Board of Trustees. May I get a roll call, please?
Diane Colvin,
Here.
Josh Patrick,
Here.
Andy Jacobs.
Present. Pledge allegiance. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So may I get a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, April 2nd,
It was actually April
or was
4th.
it April 4th?
Yes.
Correct?
I will make a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
I will second that.
All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we have, what's that? Oh, that's me. Yeah, thank you. Do we have any additions, removals, or disclosures from the posted agenda?
The only thing we have is, we still have cable resolution 2024-36 from the previous meeting.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Gus. Now, if you've not done so already, for anybody that's in the audience, if you guys have signed back in the back with the thing, I appreciate that, thank you. Now we're up to citizen comments. Does anybody have any comments?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to approach the
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
name, address, or anything like that?
Yeah, please.
Matt Dumal, 4491 East State Route 73, Waynesville, Ohio, 45068. Good evening, board. I'm here to publicly withdraw my resignation from the Wayne Township Fire Department, hinged on a meeting with the trustees in an executive session to discuss the circumstances around my untimely and sudden resignation request. That is it, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Does anybody else have comments?
Good. Good evening, trustees. I'm
Good
Ray
evening.
Otto from 11 North 4th Street in Waynesville, representing the Garden Club tonight and the Warren County Soil and Water District. We've joined hand in hand. We've come up with a process to start out with. About 15 years ago, if you remember, if you drove, I drive up to Wright Pat every day. I'd usually wash my car about once a week to get the bugs all off. Not so much anymore. Part of that is because of the development of Warren County, and what we're seeing is a breakdown of the natural areas. So an initiative, there's many out there, BCDUSC, Xerces Society, all these other things. We stumbled across what's called pollinator pathways. And that originated around New York City, Long Island, on the eastern part of Long Island. They had to start importing European bumblebees, which you see in the boxes and hives. Those aren't native. So they had to bring those in to get their crops to grow. Well, pollinator pathways identified what plant they needed to help those pollinators make it around the suburbs of New York. And within 3 years, everything was restored and they didn't need to bring in the hired bees, so to speak. So with that knowledge and what we gained, we went, the Garden Club and myself, went to Warren County Soil. We got a hold of Central State University and also Ohio State Extension. They've identified basically the monarch and the blazing star moth. Blazing star moth being the most endangered for our area. It's seen in Kentucky, in the northeast part, in some spots. But the problem is it needs food and it only travels so far, where the monarch can go a long distance. So the idea is if we get everybody to plant 1 or 2 plants that these things live on, and they're not in little isolated islands, and they connect. The primary area that we now know they're here is at Cedar Creek. And so, with Cedar Creek being the anchor, our first step is to try and connect Lebanon and Waynesville, and ask our neighbors to plant 1 or 2 of these plants. There's some alternates in the brochure, but the blazing star is unique, and it grows well in many different types of soils, not as good as in some areas as others. However, the blazing star moth eats the plant, basically goes in the ground right next to it, hibernates all winter, comes out for about 7 weeks, bores into the reason it has the name bore, it goes into the hollow tube of it. The larvae hatches just like a butterfly, it comes out, lives its life for about 6 weeks. The big deal here is the majority of baby birds eat these. So they're super high in protein, and that's why our finch population, the bluebird population in our area is really going down. So that's why the university professors told us this is the one to go after. So what we're doing is we're trying to get people to plant 1 or 2 blazing stars in their backyard, wherever, and at least connect our populations and expand out. Eventually, we hope to connect the 5 Metro Park and the Cincinnati Zoo. Is I've talked to Mr. George again, but our hopes is to connect with all those. Right now, I'm part of the Cincinnati pollinator pathway. If you're familiar with my address, to the left of my driveway now is a pollinator garden, and we're trying to bring those back. Warren Senior of the area used to have some wild areas that did have blazing star in those areas, and apparently that buoyed this area for a long time. And when that family went away and the maintenance facility went back there, we eliminated that, and I personally saw that our finches are about 3/4 down. So again, this whole initiative is just another one's called Homegrown National Park. Doug Talmy is an advocate for that. And the whole idea is just to plant a few things that are native to our area. They get the insects going and the pollinators going, which then the birds feed off of and keep the whole chain going. One other thing that I might mention is leaves around these plants is really good. Leaf mulch and pine, but they bore into the ground. So if you use dyed chips, it's probably the worst thing. They can't make their way into the ground. So Schwartz mulch is the only one. They have been advised, and they're supportive of us, that has leaf mulch this year. I have to get back to them to see if we've negotiated a deal, so to speak, for people. Grandma's Gardens has been very kind, and they're gonna reopen their store at 6 o'clock on May 9th, and they'll do a kickoff. They've ordered in plants for us, and I'll be offering those at a discount to try and kick us off. We're just trying to, I'd say 3 weeks ago, I didn't know that this would come together. Suddenly, everything's happened, so I apologize for the late notice. I was hoping to get to all the elected officials and say, hey, we got this going, you know, like you'd be a part of it, and now it's on fast track because we need to get the plants out in May, get them in the ground, or the combs, which looks like a bulb, for these plants. So we've accelerated things, and I just wanted to advise you of what's going on and ask for your support. And by that, by meaning of support, is if you want to do a resolution, that's fine, but all I wanted to do is make sure you knew about it and you could spread the word on it and go, I don't know what this crazy guy is doing over there, but this is what it's all about. I have not gotten back because of the eclipse with Cedar Creek. Ranger Erin Sean is our point of contact. She was on board about a year ago when we started this process. The dredges of slow progress have made it, and suddenly it's accelerating. The pollinator pathway will focus on the moth this year and the monarch at the same time. There's lots of money out there, like Quails Unlimited, Birds Unlimited, all these others are supporting that because the monarchs support their youngs up here. So with that, we will go 2 years on these 2 insects, so to speak. Then we'll add another new one as the universities tell us what's most endangered. Right now, there's about 87 endangered. To give you an idea, last year I got involved with this because I was fighting PTSD pretty well. And that was my outlet. I counted 18 different types of bees in my first year having a pollinator garden on my hill. I never knew there was that many pollinators on my hill. We should be around 33. So as we learn and go with this, that's what we're progressing. And again, we're just leaning on people's goodwill, like the university professors. So it'll be a slow go, but again, I put my name out there, it's on the list. And also Cindy Meyer at the Warren County Soil and Water. We'll be going for funding next year. Hopefully, we will be part of the pollinator pathway. Licking County is the first one in Ohio that's done it, and they're basically at the same stage we are. The 3 people that decide to do it up there suddenly everybody's jumping on board, so we hope to do the same thing here. But anybody has questions?
I think it's great. I know I do bees, at the house, so I'm trying to look for my storms now, because they're starting to come out.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever think about posting on some of the Facebook pages?
We were gonna start, but again, I wanted to let all the elected officials know
Oh,
what's
perfect,
going
yeah.
on before people started calling and going,
Oh, yeah.
that's my charter, so I'm at least gonna get, still got Corwin to do. But Waynesville Village is on board. You're the second, and that's where I'll start, and I've gotta go to Lebanon, Bellbrook, some of the others, so that they're in coordination. But the garden clubs are jumping on board, so we're hoping it's just small baby steps. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, sure.
But restoring, so for example, many of the opportunities out there, like the Ohio Road Department, not putting it in the center island, which they've tried in Europe, which is great, but a lot of them get smushed in the cars. But using the sides in the turnstile areas where there's turnabouts and stuff, that's what they're doing, and then they don't have to mow. So they're actually finding savings doing that. And in New Jersey and New York, and some other Rhode Island and Connecticut now, because of the pollinated pathway, they're converting their roadsides to do this also.
Have they talked about easements for like transmission lines and stuff like that as well?
Exactly, so
Okay.
part of the whole idea behind that is it's only a win-win where we can do it. So for example, when they tear it up and put in have to dig a line, when they put it back in, they're saying, don't put in grass. Just put down the native mix, and they post a sign at each end saying, no mow. And that's the whole idea behind what we're hoping to do, is just make win-wins where we can, make small gains.
Good.
So nothing to interfere with
money
it.
mowing, right?
You can, that's, yeah.
You can get rid of all the Johnson grass.
That's another thing too, yeah.
Yeah, and that's very big part of it is making that transition, so there's, I'm learning as I go. So there's 5 or 10 different types of native grasses and stuff that go in old prairies. And if you put all these things together, they all orchestrate perfectly, and there's no mowing or whatever. One comes up at one time, keeps all the other weeds out. Well, if you only put in 2 or 3, the Johnson grass goes right to that stuff quicker than anything, or ivy, or one of these other invasives.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a learning curve. In Ohio, like I said, Licking County's #1, and we're 6 months behind. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the information, yeah. Anybody else? Like to speak? Well, thank you, both of you guys for speaking. Now off to the department reports. Mr. Scott Camry.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Okay, I'll jump down to number 7. I'm actually looking at the long-range forecast and the almanac. Looks like we're in the clear, but I did leave one spreader on one truck just in case. So, and then jump back up to number 1. It's a good news, bad news, good news scenario. So, good news. The tractor is in Bucyrus at Dexter. That's the first piece of good news. Been delivered, sitting there ready to go. Bad news is Dexter's head mower installer was killed in a motorcycle crash about 2 weeks ago. So, not only did they lose an employee, one of their head department employees, they lost a coworker, which has put them behind sorely. Because now they've got a learning curve because this guy was the expert, right? Plus, they're dealing with Tiger. You know, Tiger's only gonna ship so many units to be installed, you know, to get installed and then get paid and then send more. So they're getting back on schedule, but it's a slow process. So where it was a 3-day build or 3-day installation, they're at a week or a little more for an installation. But they're confident that time will shrink. So the last piece of good news is we're first on, once they get what they've got in their shop right now completed, we're first on the list to be installed. Long story short, or long story long, however you want to examine it, we're looking at about the end of May.
Okay.
So instead of the end of April, we're going to be put back about a month. So we'll look for the new unit to be here in the end of May, 1st of June, which is still not too bad. That's still getting where honeysuckle and all this is starting to turn to wood, and it makes a difference in, when we're clearing site distances and intersections and whatnot.
I'm really sorry to hear about that guy dying.
Yeah, coming into the
Yeah.
season, cause, Dexter, they do snow equipment and mowing equipment and whatnot. So, transitioning out of building snow equipment into installing mower equipment, and then to have that happen,
Oh,
You
and
know,
for his
it's-
family, it's just,
yeah, Al is beside himself.
yeah.
Has had to come out of his semi-retirement, so some of his guys that were in the office can get back out on the shop floor. And, but he said they're working through it, it's just gonna take a little time. So, good news, bad news, good news, but we're still just about a month off schedule, no big deal. That's all I have, unless the board has anything needs to pass along to me.
No,
Nothing?
good
All
news.
right, very good, thank you, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Fire department report. Chief Beckett.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Here I go again, asking for money. I sent you all an email earlier. We got an update on the price for the battalion vehicle that we want to replace the 2014 Expedition that's been crashed twice, and I believe had a salvage title on it. It's time for that to not be the battalion vehicle anymore. So we found a 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 police pursuit package down in Kentucky. There are none available in Ohio. So it meets our state bid. We found out today that and the reason we went with a police pursuit package is it's got heavy duty brakes, a heavy duty cooling system, and a bigger air filter, and the suspension is beefer, so if we do have to tow something, it'll do it without any problem. And also, in talking to the upfitters, it comes pre-wired, so we might save a little money there for some of the wiring. But the back windows did not roll down because it's a police truck, so to get those to roll down is $300.
Okay.
So I adjusted the price, and so the total price for that now is $54,191.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this window, you were talking about these windows.
Yeah, the
Okay.
side windows.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they don't want criminals going out the
No, I
side
guess
windows.
not.
So,
Are they charged to not make them punch on out there, charged for that?
yeah,
But it's already built, so.
all right, $300, okay. Now the upfitting, I asked for $30,000 to give us a cushion. I don't think it will reach that amount. So we're waiting on one final estimate from an upfitter. The upfitting is crucial because it's stuff that we could do in-house, but we're not real good at it, so it's better to farm it out, and that way it's insured and things. If something is wired wrong, the upfitter is responsible for that. We got 3 different quotes. Well, we're waiting on the 3rd quote. We went and looked at some of the work that it's called Valor has done, and we were really impressed with them, so we really want to get their quote back, and I think that's probably who we're going to go with, simply because the other 2 quotes, it's 4 to 8 weeks to get the equipment that we order, and then for one of them, it was 6 months before they could even get the truck in to get it upfitted, and the other one was 4 to 5 months, whereas Valor is 3 to 4 weeks.
Where are they located?
Blue Ash. So one's in Dayton, one's in Blue Ash, and one's in Kentucky. I like the idea of them being in Blue Ash, so if we have a problem, we can just take it right down there. They'll generally fix it on site. And everyone we talked to, Miami Township, Blue Ash, Union Township, Claremont, Anderson, are really happy with the work that Valor has done. So, that's who I anticipate we'll go with. I'm just waiting on him to send the quote back. It's supposed to be this week, so. But I'd like to ask that, you know, we purchased the truck. Get approval for that tonight. And then, we've got the money, it's already encumbered in Fire Fund B. I would like to give a special thanks to Lieutenant Patterson, who really headed up this project. We asked all the officers what they wanted, an SUV, a truck, or this, that, they all wanted a truck. And then got some input on some other things from him. But Lieutenant Patterson has really, done the lion's share of the work on this, so special thanks for him.
So with the truck and stuff, I have a couple questions to you.
Yeah.
So I know we're struggling to buy trucks just for, just our daily jobs, right? You know, we're trying to find certain trucks and meet the standards, and we're not really succeeding with that. It looks like it's out to 2025 with some of them, with the chassis and everything.
Yeah.
But with the Colorado being a police pursuit package, is this one that somebody must have turned down and it was sitting there? Or
It
was
could
something
be.
else?
It's a Silverado.
It's not Colorado.
Oh, Silverado, sorry,
Yeah.
it's not Chevy, but anyway, the Silverado, was it one that was turned down by a police department and sitting on there, or was it?
It could be.
Okay.
We were looking for a 1500, we looked at 1500s, 2500s, and
Okay.
3500s. And, you know, we were looking at this dealership, and he called and he said, hey, I know you guys wanted just 1500s, but we've got this police pursuit package here. It's got the Z71 suspension and bigger and all that. I was like, and
It's
the difference is like,
Yeah, it's four-wheel
four-wheel
drive.
drive.
yeah, four-wheel drive.
So what's the tow capacity on it? For being 1500,
I can,
what do you guys plan on towing, do you guys know
Um,
off the top?
maybe
Side by
Yeah,
side,
or
stuff
side
like
by
that?
side,
Yeah, I
and
can't imagine towing anything.
if need be, the association's
Yeah,
trailer.
Okay. So it's just,
Yeah. It should have no problems towing anything that we would be towing for,
okay,
so.
that's perfect.
And if we need something bigger, I know a guy.
Is it a standard size, is it the standard size bed, like the 6-foot bed?
Yep.
Alright.
And so what the upfitting will do is there'll be a deck system put in, so we'll have compartments underneath and then a rollout.
Okay.
And on the back will be an instant command board, an air pack, some tools, some extinguishers, and then there'll be an open spot for rolled hose and stuff to take back from scenes and just a storage area. And then in the cab, we'll have an area for our EMS equipment and stuff that's got to stay warm. And drug bag will be locked up in there. So,
Okay.
What's the premium that we're paying for the police pursuit package, if any?
I believe the upgrade is $3,500, I believe.
$44.95 MSRP, but
For-
it's MSRP.
So,
You know, and I looked at the Ohio Department STS pricing, and, you know, they got prices out there for Ford, Dodge, and Chevrolet. We were looking pretty close to 250, upper 40s for four-wheel drive, 150. So, and that was really with minimal options that you could add to it. You put all the options that they allow you, that they offer under STS pricing, and they didn't have a pursuit package or anything, so.
It's good ones.
Okay.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah. That off-road package makes
Yeah,
it.
one thing I like about
Protects
this,
it too.
uh,
I said the off-road package protects it as well. That's the main goal.
and just FYI, that pursuit package, they do have that governed at 70 mile an hour, so. It won't be fun to drive that back and forth to Columbus.
I'm not driving it.
I see that. So there's no pursuit going on?
No,
In the
no,
pursuit
that's my-
package?
No, I certainly hope not.
No.
I'm sure that would produce a policy.
Yeah.
And then going on down Lexipol, I think that deserves another discussion at some point, sooner rather than later. Chastity Bloom, who's one of our volunteers, asked what she could do more around the station, and she said something about social media. I jumped on that, so she is kind of our social media coordinator. She's doing the Facebook page along with myself and Ms. Colvin. And then she's apparently starting an Instagram page for us as well,
Okay.
so we're spreading our wings.
Do they have a way to lock down comment kind of things like
I
that?
don't know, that was one of the things I asked her. I'm like, look, we can't
Yeah.
turn the comments off, people can like it and stuff, but that's it. So I don't know all that much about Instagram,
I don't either.
so, but I will double check with her.
Okay.
We've got cars in the parking lot that we did some great hands-on training with, and they're still there, so we're gonna do some more cutting on cars. Saw the case guy today, I was like, you want me to cut those cars, or pick those cars up? I'm like, no, we still gotta put them into pieces, so. That's good. The station mulching, we had some mulch delivered, thank you.
Welcome.
And the Lions Club Leos came out and mulched on Saturday with the on-duty crew, but they, about 5 minutes into them starting, they got a run, so they, those kids knocked it out. I mean,
Thank you, guys.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
they got it done. So with the fish fry coming up this weekend, I wanted to get that done. They mowed yesterday after some mower issues, thank you.
You're welcome.
Got it looking good. We got to do a little trimming here and there and make it look good for Saturday and Sunday. And then today was day one of the Warren County Career Center's Tech Rescue class. They do their confined space rescue training in our station. We've got some boxes and tubes that they use. It's pretty interesting. I personally, when I went through it in 2004, I hated confined space because, well, look at me. I don't belong in confined spaces, but those guys that teach it, they love it. And so we're very happy to partner with Warren County on that. And that's all I had. It's FDIC week. If you're not familiar with what FDIC is, it's the Fire Department Instructors Conference out in Indianapolis.
Thought it was something else.
I will be heading up there on Friday, so it's a big trade show, so I'm gonna see what's out there to spend more
So
money.
you'll be at Fish Fry Sunday, but not Saturday?
Sunday, but not Saturday, yeah. And that's all I have, and thank you.
Do we need a resolution for the truck, or can we make a motion?
You can make a motion, start the process, and have a resolution for you next meeting.
Make a motion to allow $83,891.
I think we need to, yeah, because if
We
it's
just
over,
wanted the first truck, don't.
We should buy it,
Oh,
and
okay.
then hold off on the third, okay.
hold off, yeah, just the truck.
Okay.
Make a motion to allow the purchase of a 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 WT for $53,891.
I will second that.
54,191.
Oh, 50, because it's got
Yeah,
four.
Forgot.
Plus $300.
$300
To make the windows
To make the
work.
windows
I
work.
apologize, gotcha. Stop that.
So somebody else can make the motion.
Sorry.
Okay, we got a motion by Josh for $54,191 for purchase of the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 work truck. And the second was by Andy.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Is there any more questions for the fire department chief?
I have none.
Okay. Ms. Lowy, the zoning department. How are you doing tonight?
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm trying to put that down before I don't have it in my memory there. I have just a few resolutions on here tonight, trying to keep up with the reappointments of various members to boards. Jeff Palmer, I asked him, he's willing to be reappointed for a 5-year term as a regular member of the zoning commission, his term would end in 2028, July 28, and also for Michael Wages, who's a current alternate on the BZA. As you'll remember, when we redid the zoning resolution last year, the terms were changed for alternates, so it would be a reappointment for 2 years and expire 2 years from now in April. I also have another resolution on tonight to change the meeting date for the July zoning commission meeting. I chose a date when we did the calendar, and it turned out I didn't have a quorum, I know that already, so I polled them, and July 2nd works for 3 of them, so I should be able to have a meeting if we need it, so.
It was quite the conversation back
It
and
took a
forth.
while. I tried every, well, it was the 4th of July, and people, there just wasn't much options. We have some upcoming hearings. We would know as the used car lot on State Route 73 at Township Line and 73. He currently has a split zone lot, B1 and B2, so the car lot is on the B2 portion. It's a permitted use. He would like to, his plan is to put self-storage warehouses up. And in B1, those are conditional use, and in B2, they're a straight site plan, so it complicates things for him to proceed. So he's decided to request that the whole lot be rezoned to B2, and then if that goes through, he'll come back with a site plan. He's done some of the preliminary calculations. I had to make sure that he can actually do what he wants on the lot size that he has and the number of buildings and so forth, because we have a maximum floor area ratio and impervious surface ratio, so, he felt that he could make a go of it if it's B2, so that'll be on your agenda. May 7th, it's gonna be starting at the regional planning, at the end of this month, and then the zoning commission on the 2nd. That's the bulk of what I've got here tonight.
So did Mr. Wages, was he actually on did he get to sit on a meeting yet already being an alternate?
He's done, yeah, he's
Okay.
he's done a lot of meetings so far this year, so.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
Very good. Any more questions? No? Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Administrative report, Mr. Edwards.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
We're in the middle of the month of April, and when Scott gets back from Texas and towards the end of this month, we'll be working with submitting our end of the year report for the SLFRF funds that have been used in 2023. The health insurance renewal becomes effective May 1st, so our agent, Frank Carmen, will be here at the building, administration building. I'll send an email out to all employees, whether you're on the plan or not. You're welcome to attend at 11 a.m. here in order to ask any questions or whatever on any of our policies, whether it be the health policy, the dental, life insurance, or anything of that nature. Salt bids came back in from the county at $92.10. That's up $2.25 from last year's bid. And so our 200 tons, that will be approximately $18,420 for this year. Waynesville Business Expo is this Saturday. So it's going to be a busy Saturday, as Andy probably already knows.
Yes, I do know, yes.
So we need to put fish fry signs up there, point them over, they can just walk over to the,
Yeah, you have a Business Expo, a 5K run
oh,
walk.
wow.
You have a mulch delivery this weekend. We have a mandatory volleyball meeting for parents. I can just name it all.
Yeah. Spring drill meet.
Yeah, all of
That's
you.
the major.
So any help or whatever we can get on running the booth, so we have a block for the booth, we're setting it up with fire department stuff, and I'll be manning it. If we can get anybody else, whatever, then we'll have applications, handouts for the fish fry, multiple anything, so.
I'm gone this weekend, I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm gone this weekend, I'm sorry.
I was even bringing a little bale of hay for the.
Do we have a flyer for the fish fry?
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll just make a little card deliver up when you hand out.
What are the hours of that?
It's 9 to 2.
Okay,
9 to 2.
we'll see if I can get someone to.
I think we got registration for the 5K, is it at 8? I think we gotta be over 7.
Yeah, we have to, I'll get with the chief on it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So yeah, so that's going on this weekend, again, fish fry both days. So it's a good day to stay in town, get things done, and support everybody, and get stuff cleaned up around the house, I guess. Road program, is current road mileage, that got put together is 3.037 with a cost estimate of about $350,000 for the chip seal and the slurry seal, minus 3 units of the ARPA fund, which would be $25,000, that'd be total $75,000, which brings that down to $275, and we have $290,000 that's been appropriated out of all of the different road funds for these projects, the capital improvements. And we also have $100,000 in our transfer out in the gas tax fund. So we'd like to go ahead and try to put Elvin Road on. That's 1.6 miles of roadway for chip seal. It was on the list, so we initially took it off along with Corwin Road. It's probably in the worst shape. It needs it more so than Corwin. We can put Corwin off another year. So I think with the additional $100,000 we have in transfers out, with all our other purchases we're seeing, and provided that the pricing, which was supposed to be opened up today for the paving at the county, as long as it's not going to throw us into sticker shock, then I think we can work with our appropriations and get that extra 1.6 miles done. I'll just be chip seal on that. So if you have any questions, like I said, we've got this all laid out down here. Your packet, so
That's not our work session? That's something
we can do that in work session. That's
No,
what
it's
it was.
road treatment for,
Yeah.
okay, that is, okay,
So
I'm
we
sorry.
can go over that if you want to, and then,
No,
okay. So with that being said, I think that was about it on my report. Yeah, we don't have what the bids were today on asphalt paving.
Well, I've got not a unit cost, it's the whole, and until, I'll get a hold of Jens and I'll find out what the unit cost actually is gonna be.
So we can figure our tonnage, so we'll get a unit cost, and we'll know approximately. The only thing that's gonna hold us up is the Corwin Avenue project, and it may not actually get bid out till late in the fall, or not even be done until 2025. So, yeah, there's that potential, and it can always be pushed back. And then also, that project has got enough flexibility into it, scope of the project, and we shrunk to fit whatever our appropriations and budget allows on that. We got a couple different stop and starting points that aren't critical in nature. So we just want to make sure we felt comfortable. So we were going to try to actually do Elvin and Corwin Road, but that's not in the cards. So that's all I have.
Checkout's not bad enough for that.
Okay, any more questions for Mr. Edwards?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You get anything with old business?
Nothing, I haven't had a chance to do any of the website here lately, but I will put that back on my agenda.
and I know last time I brought up the tree thing, so when I need to get with Scott on some stuff. I went to Grandma's Gardens and found talked to a nice lady there about natives, and I have some good ones picked out. Black gum, river birch, and tulip trees. So,
Tulip trees?
it's a tulip poplar, basically.
Oh, a poplar,
You know,
okay.
I mean, I call it a tulip poplar, but they call it a tulip tree. But to me, it's the tulip poplar, that one with the white flowers with the orangey,
Okay,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You know,
Was a black gum wildfire?
yes,
Oh,
I know, they're gorgeous, I know. Yeah, so, anyway, the problem I see with how big these other trees are out here is they're in the perfect spot for where you want to put another tree, but you can't really just, I don't think those things are gonna yank out, so. So I don't know about, once we remove them, like, where to put the other new trees. So, and I don't know where utilities are, and You can come out and help us figure out utility.
Yeah, I can locate the actual.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have to call the 411 thing, but
It's,
anyway.
yeah.
I'll,
And then that's where everything's at.
I was gonna say, I pretty much know where
Okay.
everything's at.
okay. So I might want to meet you out here one day and
That's fine.
kind of see, and I'll bring it back for a, but it's about, I don't know, looking at $1,000, $1,200 or so.
Just for the tree purchase?
For the
itself?
tree purchase, yeah. They weren't too bad, they were about $225 to $300 per tree, I know which one we picked. And it was two worth. Anyway,
And then that email that I received from the High University Extension, usually from Jim Boggs, I don't know if you know him, but yeah. So I signed up for his emails. So he usually gives emails every week or so.
He does, and he's a politician, put it that way.
Yeah.
So the central state and the other people I'm learning are responsive.
Yeah.
So what I have learned is in pollinator land, wild gum, we have one of those in our front yard also. And the oaks are the absolute best for all species, but it comes with a mess with all the acorns and everything else. The next up is the red maple, and I just learned that, you know, there's many types of Acer rubrums or red maples.
Oh, yeah.
We now have two in our backyard that we just put in this weekend, past weekend, and that is the next one up. But it's, the idea is you're trying to get something that blooms in spring, summer, and fall, and continue it. So as these things come out of the ground, because they only live about 5 to 6 weeks, and then they go back in the ground, wait for next year. And somehow miraculously, they know when the weather's good and their plant is producing. But if they come back out of the ground, the plant's not there, you lost that population.
Right.
So that's the trick of picking your things, but I totally say Central State and Ohio DNR. And before that, if you have a tree question, Cindy Meyer. They will be your front person
yeah.
that will hunt down what you need to know, whether it's clay soil or whatever, because dealing with the big, oh yeah, this is great, you go, but I don't live in a bog. You know, I do know that those type of trees are near rivers. I don't live in river. So please use that, or their expertise is great. We really made a lot of gains by using modern soil.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next on the list, new business. Do we have any questions or concerns of the bills? I have none as well. Move on to legislation. My glasses off for this. So we have resolution 2024-39. This is a resolution to modify the Wayne Township Board of Trustees 2024 meeting date calendar for the July 2024 zoning commission meeting.
I'll make
So-
a motion to approve resolution 2024-39.
I'll second.
We got a motion by Mrs. Coleman, and a second by Mr. Patrick. Roll call. Mr. Patrick,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yay.
Ms. Coleman.
Yes.
This resolution hereby passed this 16th day of April.
Next, we have resolution 2024-41. This is a resolution reappointing Jeff Palmer to the Wayne Township Zoning Commission.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-41.
I will second that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Patrick, we got a second by Mr. Jacobs. Roll call. Mr. Jacobs,
Yay.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. Patrick.
Yay.
This motion, or this resolution 2024-41 is hereby passed the 16th day of April.
Next, we have resolution 2024-42. This is a resolution reappointing Michael Wages to the Wayne Township Board of Zoning Appeals as the alternate member. I'll make a motion to approve this resolution 2024-42.
I will second. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Jacobs and a second by Ms. Coleman. Roll call vote. Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Mr. Patrick,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs.
Yay.
This resolution in 2024-42 is hereby passed the 16th day of April 2024.
So next we'll go to, we're looking at correspondence now, I do believe. The elected official, we'll get work session and executive session. Okay. So right now we're looking at correspondence. Does anybody have any correspondence current?
We have two items. We have the county quarterly Board of Health. If you'd like to see anything on it, this happened from January through the end of March. And also we have the monthly Warren County Health District newsletter out. And that's all I have on correspondence.
Anybody else? We're good?
Let me take that back. I want to add one other thing for correspondence. And this
Okay.
is, Board President Andy Jacobs forwarded this to us today, and I just kind of want to let the board realize is that we had a septic system or whatever that had failed an inspection, and so therefore they were given 30-day notice, and that typically then does come back to us, to the board president. So I don't think any of the other two trustees received it.
I didn't see their names on it either, so.
So that is just an FYI, it's not anything really
I think we had another one.
speaking about, but it's, it's just letting us know that
Yeah.
they've notified them, give them 30 days to correct, take corrective action. Yeah, and it can be something as simple as, electric is off between the house and the pump, or the pump's not working, to a leach line failure, to anything.
Perfect. Now we got election officials comments. Do you guys have, anything you guys like to share, any comments? The only thing I have, it's a big weekend for everybody this weekend, it's the mulch, you got the 5K, you got Business Expo, you got the fish fry. A lot of things happening. Plus, I just want to just give a shout out to just Waynesville in general. Waynesville families have been great. I mean, even tonight, for example, I had a Waynesville family take my son to a game tonight, because we're busy and everything's moving on. So really just living in Waynesville has been really great for all of us. And, I just want to say more and more is it's a blessing to be here. So thank you to everybody, without a doubt. Next, we got work session. Road treatment program.
Okay.
So we can go to that real quick. Oh, sorry.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much went through it, and you had it in your packet, so any questions?
This is the links, and so, we're adding, we're at 3.037, another 1.6. That puts us up around 4.5 miles, which is typically, we've been in the range of about 5 miles a year for the last couple, 3 years, especially with the ARPA funding.
Right.
Once we get out of the ARPA funding at the end of this year, then, back to normal, but the biggest thing I really appreciate is the fact that looking at 4 years ago, before we entered the subdivision and started doing some preventative maintenance and some of this preservation in subdivisions, we had not done anything. And I think this board is probably pretty, you realize that probably the previous board, they wouldn't allow us to do anything if it wasn't actual pavement itself, hot mix. So doing with its treatment that we've currently been doing, this will pretty much get us through every subdivision that we have except for Troy run across the street and
Yeah.
Okay.
Laura Marie.
and Laura Marie, which Laura Marie just got paved. I got that here notice.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really allowed us, I think, to catch up, and if not, get actually, I think, a little bit of ahead. So I think we're in good shape if we get through this year, and like I said, I don't see any reason why not. The yellow ones, are the ones that are gonna get chip sealed first. Everything in green or in the blue gets the,
Microservice.
the microservicing. And then this is our total page. It's hard to read from out there, but.
Yeah.
I just like the way you do the rotations, Scott. I think it's a good thing to keep, the plan and keep things in a
We,
good cycle.
you know, we've historically, and this was started long before even I, you know, came to work here 24 years ago. You know, we stayed on that five-year schedule with the chip seal, and with talking with a lot of the guys down at the county, you know, they say, you know, man, your roads are in good shape. You know, I mean, Wayne Township, we, you know, look better than some of the county roads even. And when we've, at times, over the years, thought we might stray from that program, we reminded ourselves that the roads are in the condition because we've stayed that course.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not just hitting problems, you're doing,
We're,
you're doing it.
we've
ahead of
established a
schedule.
program and we've stayed the course and stayed on that program. You know, I'm standing on the backs of Randy Lineball, you know, who was, you know, worked on it was my predecessor. The board's previous, going all the way back to when Ray and Gus was on the board, trustee, who saw that, and we stayed that course, and we stayed on that five-year schedule. Over the years, you know, when roads have, you know, stayed in pretty good condition, I mean, for an example, I mean, Corwin Road is, I mean, it needs attention, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bleeding to death, it's not coming
Yeah.
apart. North Cincinnati Columbus the same way, but it was 42. Cedar Hill, the same way. South Cincinnati Columbus, that was all 42 at one time. So, you know, we've been able to, over the years, we've been able to stray from that five-year plan, but we don't get too far from it. And, you know, we embarked on, or at least I and Gus, we embarked on this rather ambitious plan, especially with the help of the ARPA money. You know, we paved the north end of the township is all but paved. You know, and, you know, we've stuck with that reclamite and, you know, we've stretched those dollars, you know, that we do get, you know, tight as banjo strings, but, you know, it's paying off, you know, and we get through this year, the subdivision roadways, you know, I'm looking, you know, well beyond after I retire, you know, 7 to 10 years, you know, from what I've seen, and the using the reground wrap asphalt in the slurry seal is keeping the color. And it's keeping it, and what I'm seeing is with the sun, with the UV rays and everything, we're getting back to that old AC mentality where it kind of heals itself. You know, so back in the 70s and the 80s, you know, before they started messing with the recipe and the formula of AC, you know, roads would re-heal themselves. You know, I remember as a child riding a bicycle and cars popping up out of the road, and you're riding over it, popping it, and everything. And that's what I'm seeing with this microservice. I mean, it's with the sun's heat, with using the wrap and the grinding. It's a little more cumbersome to work with for the crew. It's not my problem, but it's working out better for us,
That's good.
which in turn works out better for our residents.
Yeah.
And
When you do get around to Corwin Avenue, there's that spot where that culvert comes across right near where Middletown Road comes in, where you used to live. You hit that, do you know where I'm coming from?
well, we're on the
Do you know where?
on the federal infrastructure, we're gonna try to make another go at trying to get that grant to get that fixed.
Okay.
That's
I
an
get it all the
$80,000,
time.
that's an $80,000
Oh, that cool
project.
culvert needs to be replaced?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Is that why it's sinking?
Huh?
Is that why it's like sinking?
Yeah.
Or is it, okay,
I mean, it's not in danger of collapse,
Right,
but
right.
we're,
okay.
There's 3 different types there.
Really?
yeah,
Oh, Lord.
yeah, there's a whole menagerie actually in that intersection. There's metal, tile, concrete.
That's a.
Yeah, it's
There's
a,
a lot of water comes through that.
it's a, yeah. So, Yeah, that, I mean, we're gonna try to have another go at the federal infrastructure grant program, when that comes back around, to try to, you know, try to get some help there. But overall, yeah, I mean, you know, we look at this and, you know, yeah, I mean, I don't know, in one perspective, you can look, you know, $290,000 isn't a lot of money, I guess, when you compare it to some of the homes that are being built, but in the grand scheme of things, what we're going to get accomplished, it's not a lot of money at all. Plus, you know, with the OPWC project on Corwin Avenue, that's gonna be huge, you know, and we've taken our butt chewings from the people of the community, and we've stayed the course there, and we've held it off until the bridges get done, so our brand new road's not gonna have to stand all the traffic that's gonna come this summer, from the 73 bridge project, so. But we've gotta have that, we have to account for that $155,000 in out of our budget, so. Other than that,
Okay.
we've pounded and ciphered and
Sorry.
I've poured over these, our schedules, the one that's on your screen now, looked at it and counted back and went out and drove the roads and looked at them, and if we can, you know, if we can get Elvin done this year on the chip list, that'll be huge. And then we can, going into 25, we'd be able to breathe easily.
Good.
I think is that your ARPA?
Yeah, so this goes back, I updated our chart of our ARPA funds, and so what will be is, I have resolutions next meeting, if it meets the board's approval, then for the micro seal of subdivisions for 25,000, chip seal for 25,000, and then the OPWC for Corwin Avenue for 25,000. Just to give you a park, I crossed off the one that was eliminated here, so this 20 now bumps up to 45,000. We're -5 here, so we should have about 40,000 left this year to spend in the ARPA fund.
Okay.
And then with the intention that, you know, it has to be spent this year, so I'm gonna be probably coming to you with where we're gonna go from here.
Okay.
If something needs to be done, then we'll have to flip a coin and decide what
Okay.
project we guys do.
Maybe
What
Stacy
about
can come
down
up with a
about-
game for us.
You know, went back through this, and I think, you know, the thing that's really, I think, been nice about this whole ARPA process is that we've been able to basically hedge against inflation and so forth, and throw 25,000, you know, in chunks, and it's really affected a lot of stuff that we've got done.
Oh, yeah,
It's helped
I would say so, yes.
Yeah.
a lot. It's,
That's what's really put us instead of behind the ball,
Yeah.
we're right at the ball, or maybe just a step or two ahead.
It's been a good couple of years to be a trustee, where we haven't had to really, you know, worry too much about the money, honestly. I know, good times are coming after this, though, so.
Yeah.
That's right, but getting ahead is gonna be the key, like I said. I think you guys did a great
That's-
job putting together your
Yeah.
projects, putting together the items that we need to hedge and save money for the taxpayers, for our citizens.
Well, that's, you know,
It's
I'm
big.
trying to look into the future, you know, I'm over the hump and headed down and looking towards retirement here in a few more years. And what I'm trying to do is set up the next road superintendent for success and make it a little easier on them, on him or her, whoever
Correct.
that may be.
Okay.
Leave it better than what I found.
It's true.
Thanks, Scott.
So we're good with the work session? Thank you again.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Then,
And guys.
you guys wanna go into an executive session, is what we're gonna do today? Is that what we're going, yes? So are we going into executive session today, or?
That's up up to you guys.
Is that what you guys want to do? Do we need to go into executive session?
I think we do.
Okay, let's go into executive session then. So everybody does. All right, so we will go into executive session. Show you the right area you gotta read here. All right, so this is going to be for personal matters, ORC 121.22 G1. This refers to appointment, employment, demotion, or compensation of public employee or official, or investigation of charges or complaints against public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual. Executive session. Trustee, is there anything else I gotta read besides that?
Just the portions that pertain to whatever subject matter you're gonna be talking about, so.
I think that's it. Yep, I think that's it.
So are you making a motion?
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session at 8 o'clock.
I have a second.
Have a motion by Mr. Jacobs, a second by Ms. Colvin. Roll call, Mr. Patrick,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yay.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
And then we will have Gus and Chief in, first one. Okay, sounds good to me.
Thank you all for
Appreciate
your
it.
service.
Alrighty, the time now is 9:38. We are out of the executive session and now returning to regular session of the board. We do have one resolution to vote on tonight that came from the executive session. So tonight we have resolution 2024-36. This is a resolution accepting resignation of Lieutenant Matthew Lumoff from the Wayne Township Fire Department. And we will, go ahead.
And we're gonna add in, that he can reapply to be on the department in 1 year. Okay, great,
Sounds good.
all right. Is
And
that
Matt,
okay?
thank
So
you
he's like-
again for
Yes.
being there and seeing us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
all you've done too.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we made a motion?
I will second.
Okay.
So motion by Andy, second by Diane.
Great.
Any discussion? If not, then roll call. Mr. Jacob,
Yay.
Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
and Ms. Patrick.
Yay.
This resolution hereby adopted this 16th day of April.
At least it didn't go into the 17th day.
That's right. And then I'll make a motion to close our meeting at 9:39.
Well, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.